To call the annual budget meeting to order. Can you please call the roll, Madam Clerk?
All right, Representative Adams. Here. Bailey. Okay. Burrell. Here. Bright.
Here.
Casper.
Here.
Surf.
Here.
Chase.
Here.
Kopp.
Here.
Crockett Hubbard. Dean Shinbrot. Eben. Here. Frickman, I see you on Zoom.
Here. Here.
Yep. Fritchie? Not yet. Gardner?
Here.
Gothier? Boy.
Here.
Guinipiero?
Here.
Hainline? Oops. Gustafson? Hanscom? Ivy? Oop. There's Fritchie. I see Fritchie. Okay, let's go back.
Fritchie and Dean Shinbrot.
Okay, I'll go back. I've got Dean Shinbrot and Fritchie online. Anybody else that I'm not seeing? So that's 15.
Are you talking?
No, I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Dean Shinbrot.
Dean Shinbrot,
Yep,
yes.
Okay, Ivy?
He said he was going to be absent tonight.
Okay. Jacome? Here. That would be 17. Massett? Here. Merritt? Here. Norman? Here. Aubry? Here. Powers? Kristen?
No, she was going to miss.
Okay, Powers, Sean? Here. Pacino? Ray?
Here.
Scott?
Here.
Cimarero?
Here.
Thomas?
Here.
V.C. Williams?
Here.
Watson?
He's online.
Yeah, I
Say
saw him.
Watson, I'm here.
There you are. Weaver? Weaver? Okay. Wells?
Here.
White?
Here.
Whitney? Didn't I see him?
I thought he
Whitney?
was online.
Nope. Okay. And Rusk. That's 31.
Here. Bailey's here and Pacino's here.
Okay. That would be 33 then. 32. And Pacino, 33. Yes, we have Bailey and Pacino also, so that's 33 at call. I have Fritchie.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if we could all rise for a moment of silence, please.
You don't have to cut John's middle.
Representative Casper, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Follow me. Do you want to do a call meeting or do you want me?
Sure. Okay, this is Resolution 2022-282, which is FYE 2023 R.T.M. Annual Budget Meetings, and whereas Section 9.3.1 of the Groton Town Charter requires that the Town Council determine the date for the annual meeting of the Representative Town Meeting, and now therefore be it resolved that the annual meeting of the Representative Town Meeting will be held Monday, May 2nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. at Thrive 55 Active Living Center with the virtual meeting option shown on GMTV and YouTube video.
Okay.
That is your call.
Town Manager, do you have a budget update?
Sure. The town council at their last meeting approved a budget of $142,668,947, which is a 3.65% increase, and they tentatively set the mill rate at 21.16 mils. And just as a refresher for what it originally was at, it was the original budget recommendation was 148,334,375. So it's a reduction of about 5.6 or so, a little more in funds. And then originally it was going to be 22.4 mils. So again, a little over about 142.5 million and 21.16 mils.
Thank you. We're now on to public petitions. This is the portion of the R.T.M. agenda where the R.T.M. welcomes comments from the public. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or as direct and submitted in written comment. If possible, presentation should be limited to matters pertinent to the town of Groton, specifically tonight to the budget. The moderator or members through the moderator shall only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation. Responses may be given by the moderator and or by the town manager. An individual should please state their name and address for the record. The first person I have on the list is Larry Spalding.
Hi, my name's Larry Spalding, 156 Smith Street in Groton, and thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I'm just going to speak a few minutes about what's going on here at the center. It's right 55 in the center and what we do for the town of Groton. I'm a volunteer. I've been a volunteer for 10 years, and right now we have right around 120 volunteers that accomplish a lot of the programs, activities, trips, and so forth that we have here. One of the things that you should know, well, actually I know you know, is that according to the website, 40% of Groton residents are 55 and older. All right, we support over 3,000 people in and out of it, with programs where people can't get out or still are afraid to get out because of COVID. But we also take care of somewhere around 150, 160 on a daily basis here. None of this would be possible without the dedicated staff and volunteers that we have here. Another one of the things that we do here, we have grant programs that's allowed us to produce the activities that we do without any extra money coming out of the budget from the town. Supplies, gardening, outside counselors, and other activities. I handed out handouts tonight. Read them, please. Any questions that you may have, and there's another pile I put up there. And it should answer most of your questions, if you have any at all.
Pick it up later.
Okay. Another one of the things that we have here is called Club 55, which again is all run by volunteers. And we take care of the bake sales, car shows, flea markets, so forth and so on. And what I'm really getting to is that just about everything that we do here is self-sustaining. We take no money from the town budget at all, and we like it that way, all right, with our volunteers, because we get a lot accomplished here. And that's just pretty much what I wanted to get across tonight, is that what the volunteers and what we staff does here and what happens here accomplishes a lot for the seniors and for everybody in the whole town of Groton. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next on the list is Kenneth Soder? That's good. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken Soder.
Can I ask you to pull that up closer to you,
Yeah.
please?
Well, I think it's getting there.
That's good.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Can you hear me now? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken Soder, and along with my wife, Ann, I reside at 5 Grove Avenue here in Mystic. I'd like to thank the town of Groton for all the support that you've given to the Mystic and Noank Library over these many years. I'm honored to be a board member over at the Mystic and Noank Library. The last couple of years have been very difficult for a lot of people with the pandemic, and the library has really stood up and faced those challenges with Chris here as our director and her staff. During this time, we served about 60,000 visitors in 2021, and we currently have about 6,000 card holders, and about 60% of those card holders are residents of Groton. During this time, it was very important that we increase access to our audio and ebooks, and we upgraded our Wi-Fi system so that during the year we had about 25,000 people come to the library just for the Wi-Fi services. And this was really important because during this time a lot of people lost access to Wi-Fi.
Recording in progress.
Lost access to Wi-Fi, whether through their jobs or just for economic reasons. So they were able to come to the library and gain that access and be able to fill out a lot of the government forms and other things, job application forms that they really needed to do. So it was a very important service there. People were also able to come to the library and use our computers, our printers, our scanners, our fax and copy machines. And there's no charge for anybody to come to the library to use that equipment. So again, it's a great service to the citizens of Groton. And we love when the people come to our building. As you probably all know, it was constructed in 1893. So right now we're looking at almost a 130-year-old building. I also happen to be the chairman of the Building and Grounds Committee. So I can tell you it is rather expensive to maintain that building. And we do appreciate the support that we do get from the town of Groton for that purpose. Again, thank you very much, and I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you so much. Next up is Terry Burt.
Good evening. I'm glad to be here. My name is Terry Burt. I live at 187 Ledgewood Road, Groton. I'm here to support the senior center, or Club 50, Thrive 55 Plus, because it's probably one of the most important things for us seniors. Obviously, I'm a volunteer here. I've been a volunteer for about 12 years. And the volunteers are the lifeblood of Thrive 55 Plus. Last week, to give you an example, during the week, approximately 80 hours were put in by volunteers, just during the day. Last Saturday, we had the pizza dance and party, of which there were 13 volunteers that put in 6 hours each, which was another 78 hours. That's about 160 or more hours in 1 week. Well, there are also many other functions that go on here. The volunteers man the ambassador, the Cove Tech Center, quilters, gardeners, and many other functions. A few of the functions that we have during the year are Baker's Battle, Strawberry Festival, car cruise, which is something new this year. We're trying to add more and more things. Obviously, the pizza and dance party, the flea market, American picnic, beach party, Thanksgiving luncheon, holiday luncheon, craft fair, holiday kickoff, and Super Bowl, to name a few. All of these functions are open to the public. The volunteers have to set up, put everything together, do the heavy lifting. For the flea market, in a couple of weeks, it's going to be outside. We have to take all our material outside and that we're going to sell. Therefore, we have to have many volunteers to help us, because obviously we don't take it out the day before, we take it out that morning. So some of us will be here from like 7 o'clock until 1 o'clock. That's why I say you should keep the budget exactly as it is submitted, because the volunteers are the lifeblood, and they are the ones that keep this place going. The staff alone cannot do everything. I would say that the volunteers put in as many hours as the staff does. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I don't have anyone else listed. Is there anybody else who would like to speak tonight? Councillor Bordelon.
Hello, my name is Portia Bordelon, 24 Jefferson Drive, Groton, Connecticut. For full disclosure, I'm also a Groton Town Councilor. It's exciting to be here tonight to see so many familiar faces and some faces I haven't seen in quite some time, and it's fun to come back to my favorite spot, which is the R.T.M, where I started coming and speaking as I am now and getting involved. So thank you for all your efforts. I just encourage everybody, as the budget has come from the town manager to the town council, that you look at each and every item on there. There are things on there that have large increases that need extra oversight. And I say this as a Groton Town Councilor who just went through the budget. I say this as a person who fully supports my library, fully supports my senior center, fully supports human services, which I think are our backbone of our community. Those services directly impact the residents. That's the benefits that they get for the taxes that they pay. What I look for, or look to hope that this body will do, is look at ways to cut other items that maybe you can ask the town manager or the department heads that come before you. Is this something we have to do this year? Is it urgent, and can we wait? Has enough research been done on this item? One of the items of concern, which I want to thank former moderator Sima Eben, current R.T.M member, and longtime member, R.T.M member Gary Wells, who in their budget group that I watched, which I watched all the different meetings, really spoke about the use of fossil fuels. Groton Town Council made an agreement that we were going to live in a way that was more environmentally friendly. We were going to look at ways as we move forward. We can't change the past of what we already have in place. For example, the senior center. This is a new structure, but it has no solar panels. Why? As we build new structures, we should be building infrastructure in this town that represents where we see ourselves in 20 years. If we want to talk about climate change, we need to live the life as that. It was interesting when they were reviewing it, and something I did not catch as a very environmentally friendly advocate. We're replacing old burners and boilers and tanks and things with more fossil fuels. As we're replacing things now in 2020, we should be replacing things that are going to outlast, outlive, and protect our coastal community as we see the sea rising and the costs. That's just one of the items that I didn't even think of when I heard that come through. It comes by so fast. Ask your questions. Don't be afraid. And don't be afraid to stand out and vote your conscience. There's a lot of money on the table here. Another concern of mine was the ARPA funds. As a person who served in the long-term recovery committee, we came out finally with a plan. There was a delay of 8 weeks where we didn't meet for quite some time. And then we came out with these buckets. And during the town council budget session, ARPA funds just started getting thrown on the table. There was no plan. That was never presented to us in a bucket plan prior to that. So in this, you're going to see ARPA funds again allocated, done legally, done right, as I was told, but there was no master plan. Without those opera funds, the budget and the mill rate number would have been even higher. So we have to really think about what is going to happen next year. Look at those line items that are going up in the mill rates and other things that we allowed to go through that are going up way faster than one can sustain. Again, I thank you guys for all your hard work. I know people know that I'm a talker, and I see some of the faces on some that don't look as happy to see me up here, but I'm doing my civil duty, and here I am, and I encourage you guys to check out that budget, do what you've done, and ask the tough questions, and it means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Town manager, Kristen Powers should be trying on.
Hi, I'm Grace Clear, and I live at Willow Point, and I'd like to put in a plug.
I'm sorry, one more time.
what
Can you
she
just tell me
said.
your last name?
Oh, so sorry. Cleere. I'm at 1 Apple Tree Lane.
Thank you so
In
much.
Mystic, and that's on Willow Point. And I'd like to put in a plug for the town to keep looking at all this flooding that we have up and down our coast. We've got to deal with it now. Nothing else matters unless we deal with that water that is rising, and flooding. And you saw the big article in the New London Day several months ago that showed what our coastline is going to look like in 20 years. Half of us will be underwater. Nothing else matters unless we deal with this issue now, which is climate change and global warming and the rising of the sea all around us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight? Okay, with that, we are going to close citizens' petitions. We are going to move on to committee reports. Before we get started, if you need to leave early, can you please kind of motion to myself or the town clerk so that we have an accurate count of how many people are here? If you are on Zoom, if you can please just put a note in the comments with the time of what time you're leaving, just so that we're aware and we don't get a count wrong. Okay, with that, Representative Sean Powers, we will start with account number 1005. So we will start with your committee meeting minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. This we called the Representative Town Meeting of the Finance Committee. It was a special meeting agenda. It was on the 7th of...
Can't hear you.
I'm going to have to ask, yeah. Lean in.
Lean in.
Okay, I'll lean in. Is this better?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The R.T.M. Finance Committee special meeting agenda was commenced Thursday, April 7th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. at the Town Annex, Community Room 2, both virtually and in person. We called to order at 6:35. Chairman Powers, Representatives Chase, Fritchie, Gardner, Jacome, Scott, Norman arrived at 6:43. There was no unfinished business. We took up our new business, which was the 2022-183 FYE 2023 budget account review. First account we took on was account 1005, the town clerk. It's found on page 57. The president at the time was Town Clerk McCauser. Representative Chase made a motion to move $349,021. It was seconded by Representative Jacome. We had discussion and explanation of the functions by Clerk McCauser. An overview of expenditures and operating expenses took place. The increase of salaries, vital statistic costs, estimate of conveyance taxes, along with how conveyance taxes are estimated for the purpose of, were all discussed. Chairman Powers called for a vote. The vote was 7 in favor, none opposed, none abstained. The motion passed. So moved, $349,021. Like to put that on the floor, please?
I'm sorry, second from whom?
Jacome.
Jacome, okay.
49021.
Motion and a second. Representative Eden.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I was just curious what the reason for the $2,000 difference was. It was 347, 641 in the budget book.
Let the
chair.
chairman answer first.
Did I miss the number?
No, you're right.
She just wondered what the increase was.
To be perfectly honest with you, do you remember? I don't.
Sure,
It's
I
a
know.
2% raise.
It's a
Okay, yes, it was a
2% raise
2%
for
raise
the
for
town
the town
clerk.
clerk.
Town clerk.
Right.
Thank you.
Which is the first raise in 12 years.
Can I just ask why it wasn't included in the budget book to begin with? Was the timing off, or?
Well, go ahead, Jeff.
There's a
It's
different-
complicated.
There's a different process for the four-year elected officials. It got a little complicated. You can only do raises at certain times within a certain year of their term, so it's not like our regular increases. So it came up as the council was reviewing. So.
Thank you for that explanation.
Okay. Any other numbers? Any other questions? Representative Aubry.
I may be confused with these numbers.
Can you stand up and talk into the microphone, please?
Don't you have a thing after a certain age you can talk sitting down?
It's good for you.
Yeah, it is good for me.
Gets the blood circulating.
If I'm correct, I'd like to move the number of 347, 641. I believe.
347, 641.
Yes.
Adams. Does she want to?
Do you want to talk about your motion?
Well, I think if I'm understanding the town manager correctly, Betsy wouldn't come up when it's time for raises. We do that. Am I correct? No? Well, correct me.
No, the town charter states that the town council sets the salary for the registrar of voters and the town manager and the town clerk.
But if it's not done with this budget, when would it be done?
Well, that's.
We actually spent quite a bit of time on this. It was actually included in last year's budget, but was not incorporated, it was not enacted. So now it's being enacted.
Well,
So
It's
the
really,
raise
it's
has already
really a
gone through,
retro.
yeah.
It's really not a budget increase. It's really, my understanding, it's retroed back to 2021, because that's when it was approved by both council and R.T.M.
but it wasn't moved forward.
That's a
In the
long
paycheck.
story, too.
Yeah.
But it's being fixed, so that's why it would have been included in this budget had it would not be considered an increase for this year. It would have been an increase last year, and you would see it, the budget number would have been the same.
Well, I'm not exactly sure where how this all falls into place, but I think that's a lot of years with no increase at all. So if it makes it happen with the original number, then I would like to leave that number on the floor.
The original number does not have the raise in it.
So the,
Or, I'm sorry, the number that was given by Representative Powers has the raise. The number that was given by you does not have the raise, just for clarification.
Okay, I'll take my motion off the floor then.
Okay?
All right.
she says she.
I don't understand it, and I expect a lot of other people don't understand it.
So the original number,
Yeah, I heard what you said, but it doesn't make any sense. But that's okay.
okay, you took your number off. All right. Representative Thomas.
Just for a point of information and maybe clarity for people at home, could we have the manager's number and the counselor's number put up there as well for reference?
I don't think we should put all those numbers up. I think it would be confusing.
So I can give you the numbers. We're on page 58 for those of you who have the budget books in
It's
front
just
of
too
you.
crowded up there.
The original number from the manager, town manager, was $347,641. The town council number was $349,021, and the number passed by the committee, the R.T.M. committee, was $349,000. $21.
Thank you. Can we just make that a standard moving forward
Absolutely.
for each number?
Yep,
Thank you.
absolutely, thank you.
Thank you, now I understand.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments, numbers, motions? Okay. Then we are going to vote on account number 1005 in the amount of $349,021. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Do we have a rule that if we have people on Zoom that we need to do a roll call?
It's up to you, but I don't want to waste time if you don't need to.
Okay.
There's no confusion.
Is there anyone on Zoom who did not vote yes that could please let me know right now? I just don't want to miss any of you.
The way the law reads, people watching have to know what each person voted online. So I mean, you have to do an entire roll call, but you should
Okay, so
read off their names.
online, Representative Cerf, yes or no, or abstain?
You're muted.
I don't know about everybody else, but
It's a vote. We're only voting. I'm sorry.
I'm hearing
Representative Cerf.
the audio.
Representative
Because
Cerf.
there's feedback. Can everybody else on the Zoom session hear the audio perfectly?
Okay, Representative Cerf, we are voting on the number $349,021. Representative Cerf? Can you hear me?
She said.
Representative?
I really can't hear anything. I'm going to try to log out and log back on again, and if that
Okay.
doesn't work, I'm just going to have to leave the meeting. I'm going to try to log back on.
Okay.
Moderator. Another way you could do it is if people raise their hand, you could just read off, I have these people that voted.
Okay.
The main thing is one way or another.
Okay,
get them out.
if everyone can put their screen on for a moment, please. Okay, and put your hand up, either your hand on the screen or your physical hand up. Okay, so I have Representative Powers, Kristen Powers, Representative Frickman, I'm sorry, Representative Pacino, Representative Bailey, Representative Whitney, Representative Fritchie, Representative Dean Shinbrot, Representative Guampiero, Representative Ray, Representative Watson, I can't see you. Were you a yes or a no? Representative Watson? Everyone else, I've got your votes. Thank you. Representative Watson, if you could put your hand up, or if you could give me a thumbs down. Hands up. Okay, so Representative Watson was also a yes. So that is everyone who, Representative Whitney? Did we get Representative Whitney?
I've got him here. We have
Okay.
36 here.
Okay, so that passes unanimously.
36-0-0.
Thank you. Sorry, we'll get
Announce
this.
the vote.
So the vote was 36-0. So that passes at $349,021. Next up is account 1013, Finance Administration.
Page 91.
Oh, I'll read that, sorry. So we're on page 91. The number moved by the town council. Let me just make sure I'm right on this. The number from the town manager was $1,662,212. That number was also moved by the council and also moved by the R.T.M. committee.
But he's going to read his minutes.
Go ahead.
A motion was made by Representative Jacome to move $1,662,212. The motion was seconded by Representative Chase. A motion was made by Representative Scott to move another number of $1,596,484, and it was seconded by Representative Gardner. We had discussion, and Director Landry explained functions of operations along with the staff cutting of one position when the Finance Committee was cut 5% from the budget a few years back. She had another explanation as far as the tax department suffered greatly. She also has operated this account at a reduction to the budget, and to also recognize that if a staff member is eliminated, those lost hours must be made up by other staff. There was a question about ARPA funding in the ECD department, and Director Landry explained finance has a control over the release of these funds. We further discussed staffing and training of personnel. Chairman Powers called for a vote on the number, $1,596,484. The vote failed. Representative Scott and Representative Gardner were in favor. Those opposed were Representatives Chase, Fritchie, Norman, Jacome, and myself, Powers. Discussion continued. Director Landry again was asked where the cuts could be made. She further explained personnel certifications, statutory requirements, professional developments, and it was a very lean budget. There are 5 salary positions. The rest are hourly union members with contracts which have step increases plus cost of living increases. The job tasks and the positions are very time-consuming. You're dealing with the public as well as servicing their needs. Overtime is at a minimum. They were around $30,000 to $40,000 annually for auditing. The auditing is mandated by the state and the town charter. Does the auditor go out for an RFP was a question that was brought forward. Director Landry said that they went back to the town council because the company had merged with another company, and due to the merger, it was easier to just keep the contract that we were in. There's very few municipal firms left for auditing as well. A motion was made by Representative Scott to move another number. It was $1,629,348. It was seconded by Representative Gardner. This discussion is a 2.5% reduction in the original number. Director Landry would have to cut personnel. Man hours would have to cover that cut due to the service for the public with overtime and employees covering those lost hours. Chairman Powers called for a vote on the number of $1,629,348. The vote failed. Representative Scott was in favor. Those opposed were Representatives Chase, Fritchie, Jacome, Norman, Gardner, and myself, Powers. Motion on the floor for the original number was $1,662,212 by Representative Fritchie and seconded by Chase again. There was no discussion. Chairman Powers called for a vote. Representatives Chase, Fritchie, Jacome, Norman, and Powers were in favor. Representative Scott was opposed, and Representative Gardner abstained. The motion passed, so moved. $1,662,212.
Are you making that motion?
I make a motion for that.
Is there a second? Second from Representative Chase. So our number on the floor is $1,662,212. Yes, Representative Scott.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just to clarify the motion that I made in the committee meeting, I'm very concerned about how this budget will impact homeowners. We all went through a revaluation process. The revaluation process is heavily weighted towards homeowners. And the counselor, his name is escaping me at the moment, reported that I think under the current budget as it's coming through would represent about a 7 or 8% increase in our property taxes this year, which is a pretty steep increase. And it's been said, Councilor Bordelon spoke about it a few minutes ago, that we really ought to try hard to make some cuts where we can, where they're reasonable. With that in mind, I'm going to make a 5% cut to this budget and move a number of $1,596,484.
Second.
So I have $1,596,484. Okay. Yes, Representative Eben.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I had a question about the budget, if that's permissible. I wanted to know, perhaps Mr. Burt or Ms. Landry could tell me, in professional development and training, that number has jumped around a lot in the last few years. In 2021, it was $7,460, and this year it's coming in at $19,000. And I just was curious what was driving those costs?
Just for, so everyone knows where we're at, we're on page 93, number 5210, professional development, correct?
Yes,
Just
5210, sorry.
Thank you.
That is the professional development line item, and I will say in '21, due to COVID, a lot of trainings were canceled, so that would result in some of that, why the was only for $7,000 that year. But I will say that I've had several new staff in finance, and what I try to do is some of them are required to be certified, so I have to put into budget professional development for tax collection and assessor school so that they will become certified, which is statutorily required. I do believe in professional development, not only for the certifications, but for the rest of my staff so that they can network with their peers, and I think that training should always be ongoing. So I have tried to maintain professional development in the budget.
Thank you very much for that
You're welcome.
explanation.
Yes. You need to stand up and grab the microphone, please. Representative Weaver.
I was just going to ask, there's feedback from Zoom and it's making very difficult to hear.
Yep, we just tried to take care of that. We can't mute both of them because then, I'm sorry, one more time. It's coming from the speaker in the middle?
It's coming from the GMT.
Okay. We're trying to work on it. Thank you. Yes, Representative Massett.
Just a quick question.
Stand on microphone, please.
Was there just a quick question. Was there a second to Representative Scott's?
Yes. Yes, Representative Adams. Yes. Any other questions or comments? So, Representative Norman.
Just one thing on the number that Representative Scott put forward. He said it was a 7% increase from the budget. That was the budget number that the town manager put forward, not the council number, correct? Just in your point there. I don't know if I could ask that question, but I believe the 7% was on the 173, and now the overall budget is at 163, which is 6% lower. So
It's the same number got passed by the town manager's budget.
his point was on
remember?
the overall budget put forward, the 7% increase in his reasoning.
May I answer?
Yes.
So it's not the percent of the budget, it's the impact that it'll have on the mill rate on the homeowners. So
Totally.
Totally. So when this council reported on it, I'm not sure where they were in the budget cycle, but at the time, they were
Yeah.
pretty close. And he was saying that even with the work they had done, that the homeowners would see about a 7 or 8% increase in their taxes, the mill rate. That 7% doesn't tie to the percentage that we're seeing as an increase.
So
It ties to the mill rate impact.
Yeah. So the mill rate impact you're saying was with the 163, not the 173.
I can't answer that. I'm not
Okay.
exactly sure.
Okay,
I just want to be careful on that.
Director Landry, you had wanted to speak?
I would like to speak to the 5% cut. The first thing I'd like to say is I presented a budget. My 23 budget is lower than my 22 budget because I did cut a position. I had a vacancy that I am not filling in 23. So if I were to sustain another 5%, I would have to cut another position in finance. And as I had said in the retirement, excuse me, in the Finance Committee meeting a few years ago, I did sustain a 5% cut, and I did have to cut a position. And we did see, I cut a position in the tax office, and tax collections did suffer. And so I believe in the 21 budget, I had presented bringing that position back. And I was successful in both the council and the R.T.M. when I explained what happened cutting that position. And it was restored in tax collections, particularly back tax collections did rise. We were able to do more work in those collections because that was the division that I had to lay a position off. Thank you.
Representative Aubrey.
I hear what John Scott is saying, But to say to somebody, we want you to cut your budget by 5%, is almost insulting to the director of the departments that put these numbers together. Cindy's done a marvelous job with her budgets over the years. She's always tried to work with us and keep them right to the bare bones. And so consequently, I can't support that as much as I don't want to pay higher taxes, and I am aghast with what I'm probably going to be paying. But we can't, would we have to go actually into overtime if you have to cut another person?
I would probably have to have, we have to make up the time. I mean, if we want to have the work to be done, and particularly in the tax office, and that would most likely be the division that would have to take the layoff again.
I feel that if you're going to make an adjustment to a budget figure, you need to have something other than I'm going to take 5%. I'm not being disrespectful. But I think you have to find something in there that you think that possibly could be worked with. So I would ask not to vote for that adjustment in the price, but to stay with the full amount. Thank you.
Representative Weaver.
I just realized I don't know Cindy's
With all due
last
respect,
name.
I did hear what Representative Scott said, but to state that our mill rate would go up 7% as a taxpayer, is that a verifiable fact that that would happen? And further, from my perspective, from what I do for a living, I personally think that the finance divisions definitely needs all of their positions because it's accounts receivable for our community. And there's so much due to COVID, and right now that there's people unable to pay, and customer service is a problem no matter where we have. So we need people in place that can help our community people to take care of their financial needs and to be available for them. And if we don't have people to do the accounts receivable, that affects our coffers, and I don't agree with this 5% cut.
Hi, this is
Hold on.
Representative.
Representative Surf, you need to be-
raise my hand, but can I just say something quickly?
Next time, wait to be called on, please, but yes, you may.
Yeah. It was my understanding from watching the town council meeting that in point of fact, by applying the fund balance and whatever clever tricks the town manager has used, that the mill rate was actually going to have just a really tiny increase. I don't know how they managed that, but there was a very healthy fund balance, and they were able to apply that. So it's not really a 7% increase at all. The increase in the mill rate is very small. Town Manager Burt, can you confirm that?
Well, it's a weird year because of reval and the value of homes going up. The mill rate is dropping because of that, but there is, if everything stayed exactly the same as the town council approved with no changes, it'd be about an average of 7.51% increase. Now, some things could change. For instance, Representative Conley contacted me today. We have to verify this, but we may get an extra $500,000 in pilot dollars. That then, could help us with the mill rate. So, it depends on how it all shakes out. But he is correct on where the council was at.
Any other comments?
I'm correct, or Joan Scott is correct?
John Scott is correct.
Okay.
Representative Chase.
So we are, there is a big increase in the mill rate, because I really hate to see the budget
Hold
cut
on, somebody
this
else.
year with COVID. Yeah.
Representative Chase.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think Town Manager answered it. It's a 7.51% increase in taxes, but the mill rate is lower, but because our taxes are going to be higher is because of the reval.
Okay, correct.
Just to say that, well, just, never mind.
Representative Gardner, did you?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Could I put another number on the floor?
You may.
1,628,948. That's a 2.5% decrease.
Second, Thomas.
So the number that we have on the floor now is 1,628,948. Is there any more discussion on this? Do you have something, is it just because it's a 2.5% decrease? Okay. Representative Norman.
question again. With that 2.5%, would you still have to cut a position?
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Yeah, I'm in favor of the 2.5% number on account of, I think it's a good middle road option, and it would make some cut. I think, department heads are free to move the money around whichever way they see fit after the budget's passed. Overall, we're just looking at kind of like a grand scale number. We do have to make some cuts someplace because of what we're looking at with revaluation. We got to look out for the taxpayers. So I can understand maybe like some pause that may exist for the 5% cut, although I think that's a good way to approach the problem. So I would be in support of the 2.5% cut. Thank you.
Representative Eben.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I wanted to, in the ARPA funds, I thought that we were going to hire another individual in order to help kind of administer that grant. Was that person going to come in your department, or was that going in a different department? I don't see it here, so I'm just curious.
No, that position is currently in the OPDS department. And that decision was made because when the position was originally hired, we were thinking of the business outreach and before we were using actually the money. The purse string, so to speak, will be in finance. I will be the one overseeing the money as it's spent.
But not that employee?
Not that, no.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Casper.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'm against cutting anything from the 166,212 number, and I'm having trouble understanding this 2.5% or 5%. When I look at the town budget, I look at that over 50% of the town budget is going to the benefit of only 10% of our population. And the rest of the budget is for 100% of the population. It really doesn't seem fair when we can't cut anything from the 50% budget to impose arbitrary numbers of 2.5 or 5 on other departments. It just doesn't make sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Casper. Seeing no other hands. Oh. Representative Wells.
I recall the last time your budget was cut was a few years ago, and you had trouble collecting taxes. You didn't have anybody to send out reminders. I know I missed a tax payment simply because I said, I was doing my taxes, I forgot to pay that. But usually we'd get a letter in the mail. So I'm wondering if, if some of this will actually interfere with collecting taxes, not that you chase people down.
Right, I would envision that if I had to cut another position, it would most likely be in the tax office, would impact tax collections, particularly back tax collections. And as you said, the reminder notices. We do try to send out reminder notices, I believe, 2 or 3 times a year so that people don't fall behind in their taxes. But it most definitely would impact that division and tax collections. Because if you don't, when I had lost the position a couple of years ago, it was even to the point where there weren't enough staff to answer the phone. And the phones would go to voicemail, and people would get very upset that they couldn't reach anyone in the tax office, but there was just not enough hands to reach out to the phone. It would be very difficult to lose another position in finance when I've already cut one out of this budget.
Representative Pacino. You're on mute, please.
I'm hoping that you might be able to ask the GMTV guy to mute himself, because every movement he makes is very loud in our ears over here. And it's very hard to understand and hear what other people are saying, because he's just moving around. He's just doing his job, but we can't hear anything.
Town of Groton and GMTV are both
Two Town of Groton here. There we go. Now I think we should be good. Can you guys hear now? All right. I think we're good.
Much better.
Okay, Representative Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Madam Moderator. So if you were to take the position of like not cutting any employee position and made that like your operating philosophy, are there other cuts in this budget that could be made to make up that 2.5%?
It would be very difficult. If you look at page 93, you'll see that the majority of this budget, 1.5 million, is personnel. The operating budget for the entire finance department is $146,000. And of that, that covers postage, printing, advertising, check stock, pens, pencils. As I had mentioned in the Finance Committee, it also includes the $43,000 of professional development. Approximately $30,000 of that is the audit. So there's a lot on the operating side that's just not open to cut in order not to have to cut a personnel.
Representative
Thank you.
Weaver, I believe you've spoken already twice. Okay. Representative Jacome.
Yeah. Can you hear? Okay. Yeah, I'd say I'd recommend that we urge the original number. With Director Landry, we did talk in the committee that it was a very lean budget, and I wouldn't urge the committee to support the original number. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other hands, oh, sorry.
I just wanted, this goes with every budget you're going to see. There's contracted increases by employees' unions, and then you have non-union increases that typically are the same thing as the union get. So, unless you start budgeting, doing things back in October and say, hey, we're going to do dollar amounts instead of percentages for non-unions, you can't really mess with it right now. So it's a lesson learned, I guess, going forward. But it's a tough nut. Those employees' salaries are, most of them are negotiated.
Gardner made that motion.
Okay, seeing no other hands, we are going to start with the last number given, which is $1,628,948. How this works for those of you who have not done the R.T.M. before, we start with the last number, and then if that number passes, that's it. If that number does not pass, we work our way backwards. So the number on the floor is $1,628,948. We are going to do a roll call vote. Do you need mine?
No, yeah, probably. Maybe you could get mine. But no, I got it.
Okay, so again, we're on budget number 1013, and the number that we are voting on is $1,628,948.
Okay, this is number 3. Okay, Adams?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Burrell?
No.
Oops. Bright?
No.
Casper?
No.
Surf? Surf? Are you voting? You're muted. We're voting on the third number.
She's got her hand up.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Representative Surf, you're muted.
We'll come back. Representative Chase?
No.
Okay.
Are we voting on the lower number or the higher number right now?
We are voting on the 2.5% decrease, which is $1,628,948.
And that's a decrease to which account?
Correct.
I mean,
At 2.5%.
in words.
Yes or no?
Until I can catch up, I can't vote. I'll abstain.
You abstain. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Cop?
No.
Dean Shinbrot?
No.
Eben? Frickman?
Yes.
Fritchie?
No.
Gardner?
Yes.
Gothier? Representative Gothier?
She's not on right now.
Oop, rats, okay. We'll come back. Guinipiero?
Yes.
Gustafson?
No.
Hainline?
No.
Hanscom? Oops, not here. Not here. Jacome?
No.
Massett?
No.
Merritt?
No.
Norman?
No.
Aubrey?
No.
Kristen Powers?
No.
Sean Powers?
No.
Pacino?
No.
Ray?
No.
Scott?
Yes.
Cimarero?
No.
Thomas?
Yes.
B.C. Williams?
No.
Watson?
No.
Weaver?
No.
Wells?
No.
White?
No.
Whitney?
No.
Rusk?
No.
Who am I missing? Gothier, is she there yet?
She's not.
Okay.
So that fails 5, 10, 15, 20.
I have
25,
7.
27.
7 yes, 26 no's, and 1 abstention. That should equal,
I
except
have
we're missing
20
Gothier.
I have 7, 27, 1.
Oh, I'm sorry, 27, you're correct, 27. I wrote 26.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that motion fails. So the next number on the table is 1,596,484. All right, we're going to take a roll call vote.
Okay.
So again, the number on the table is 1,596,484 for account number 1013.
Adams?
No.
Bailey?
Yes.
Burrell?
No.
Bright?
No.
Casper?
No.
Surf?
She's raising. No? Okay.
Okay. Chase?
No.
Cop? Crockett Hubbard's not here. Dean Shinbrot?
No.
Eben? Frickman?
No.
Fritchie?
No.
Gardner?
Yes.
Gothier's still not here?
No.
Okay. Guinipiero?
No.
Gustafson?
No.
Hainline?
No.
Jacome?
No.
Massett?
No.
Merritt?
No.
Norman?
No.
Aubrey?
No.
Powers? Kay?
No.
Okay. Powers S?
No.
Pacino?
No.
Ray?
No.
Scott?
Yes.
Cimarero?
No.
Thomas?
Yes.
V.C. Williams?
No.
And Watson? Representative
No.
What? No, no, okay. 10-2. Weaver?
No.
Wells?
No.
White?
No.
Whitney?
No.
And Rusk?
No.
I have 4 yes and 31 no. Boy, I hope I got that.
So that fails 4 to 31 to 0. So the next number on the floor is the original number, 1,662,212. We will do a roll call vote.
Madam Moderator, I'd like to move another number.
I already called the vote.
Is it too late?
I already called the vote.
All right.
So the number on the floor is 1,662,212.
Which is the council and the committee's recommendation?
Correct.
Okay. Adams?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Yes, okay. Bailey?
Yes.
Burrell?
Yes.
Bright?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Surf?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Cop?
Yes.
Dean Shinbrot?
Yes.
Eben? Frickman?
Yes.
Fritchie?
Yes.
Gardner?
No.
Gothier? Lauren?
Not here.
No, okay. Guinapiero?
No.
Gustafson?
Yes.
Hainline?
Yes.
Jacome?
Yes.
Massett?
Yes.
Merritt?
Yes.
Norman?
Yes.
Aubrey?
Yes.
K. Powers?
Yes.
S. Powers?
Yes.
Pacino?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
No.
Cimarero?
Yes.
Thomas?
No.
V.C. Williams?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Whitney?
Yes.
Rusk?
Yes.
Okay, 31 yes and 4 no.
So that passes 31 to 4 to 0. All right. We are moving on to account number 1046, nope, I'm sorry. 2120 revaluation fund.
Page.
95.
Madam Moderator, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I figured out what the problem is. It's feedback from everybody fiddling around too much, because when you were taking the vote, I could hear everything perfectly. So the less all of you can speak it, during the discussions and all of that, the better.
We'll do the best that we can. Representative Surf will do the best that we can to not move things too much. Thanks for the feedback. All right, we are on page 95, account number 2120.
A motion was made by Representative Chase to move $248,000, seconded by Representative Jacome. Director Landry explained why we had this fund. It was created in 1999 in order to keep a steady flow of funding to reduce spikes in our taxes for the property reevaluation. State mandates this process every 5 years. It used to be 10 years. We do them both 5 and 10, plus the town does aerial mapping now. Tyler Technologies does our reevaluation. Funds also include legal fees for lawsuits that will occur from reevaluation and ongoing pending suits from prior cases. The chart on page 95 explains the projected costs need to keep the funds sustained. The unused funds roll into the following year's funds to determine how much we will contribute in the following year. The process of appealing your assessment is to first meet with Tyler to review, then second is to go to the Town Assessment Board of Appeals, and then civil litigation if it can't be resolved. The process of reevaluation and assessment values were discussed in detail on the COVID-19 anomaly, which some believe increased housing prices. Director Landry explained that the state has specific reevaluation guidelines that all parties must adhere to for this evaluation. The question of phasing in or postponing still exists at the state level is going to be reviewed. That's what we talked about. We might be too late to seek a review. The data mailers were used for the reevaluation, which saved an additional $40,000 from the $389,000 spent on this project. The chart on the page 95 is a moving number. Each year it's adjusted. A motion was made by Representative Gardner to move $245,000. It was seconded by Representative Scott. We had a discussion. Representative Jacome responded it was a frivolous motion due to the amount. The legal fees usually more likely during the 10-year evaluation, so more money may be needed in this budget session, or this next budget session. The town may need more for legal fees due to housing market increases and housing tax increases in this cycle. Motion was made by Representative Gardner, withdraw his motion, and it was seconded by Scott. And all of us accepted it as in favor of that. Chairman Powers initiated a motion for a vote on the original number, and it was $248,000. It was seconded by Representative Chase. Seconded by Jacome. Representative Chase, Jacome, Norman, Gardner, Scott, and Powers were in favor. There was no opposed, and there was Representative Fritchie abstained. So the motion passed for $248,000. I'd like to put that on the floor, please.
Second.
248. 000.
Okay, this is the same number that was requested by the town manager, passed by the town council, 248,000. Any discussion?
Who seconded that?
Representative Jacome.
Maybe they can say their names when they second.
When you second, can you please say your name? And that way the town clerk can catch it.
And so for the people at home.
And the people at home. All right, no discussion? Okay, oh, Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'd like to amend the number,
Okay.
or pose a number of, oops. Hold on one second, I just lost it. All right, so yeah, I'd like to propose a number of 230,640.
230640.
Yes.
There's a second. Second. Who was that, Gardner? Do you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, this reduction represents a 7% decrease in the funding, which is in response to the 7% possible increase in mill rate.
Okay.
Or in taxes, I mean.
Representative Merritt.
Could I kind of rehear that again? I didn't understand the rationale.
Sure, I just took 7% off the top because that's a number that's been bounced around as far as like what the impact's going to be.
Is it relevant to this item on the floor right now?
In my opinion, yes.
Representative Casper.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. This, as I understand, this is an annual contribution to a fund, and there's expenditures every 5 years for the revaluation. So if you cut 7% one year, you're going to have to make it up another year. And the idea of this was to keep the spending balanced. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. We contribute to the fund on an annual basis so that we build up a fund balance in this fund. So when the 5-year revaluation comes, we have the funds available to pay the revaluation company. If we were to cut this, what you're voting on now are the expenditures of the fund. And if we did not have enough of an appropriation to cover the expenditures of the fund, we would have to dip into the fund balance. So then what would happen is my table on 95, I would have to increase the contribution to the fund in the following year.
Representative Eben.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'm just curious, Director Landry, in 2021, we had a in the amount of almost 500,000. It was 494, 195, and I was just curious why it was so disparate in that year.
In that year, if you do remember, we did have we had anticipated a lawsuit to go to court, but with COVID, it did not progress through the court system as quickly as we thought it was. So we had anticipated fees in that year that would be spent, and that didn't come to play.
So then what happens to that, extraneous, say, $250,000?
It goes back into this fund.
Okay.
It stays in this fund's fund balance.
So wouldn't we then get a year off? I'm trying to figure that out.
I think I might have misunderstood your question. The 400 that's in actual 21, that's when we started the revaluation. So that was the cost for the actual revaluer in that year.
2021? It says
Yes.
that the thing started in 1999.
Oh, no, that was the
Sorry.
first year of the fund. But the 10/1/21 reval, that the October 1 reval that just completed, we started that in fiscal 21, and we had paid the reval company. That's why that is higher that year.
So the increments aren't, that's what I'm trying to understand, the increments aren't always the same, sometimes they're twice as big? I thought the idea of this fund balance was to keep it kind of in an even increment, so you don't feel a bite that large in any one year.
Right, that is the plan. And if you look on 95, I try to keep the contributions, which is the contribution to the general fund. I try to keep those, as similar every year as I can. But in the years that we have the reval and we have you'll see the mapping, I bump up in the mapping. You'll see the next reval is due in 2026, but I'm anticipating that we're going to spend $350,000 that year. So I do try to keep the contributions in, but the actual appropriations, which are for either the reval company or for legal fees, they can fluctuate, I guess is what I'm saying. I do the best I can to try to estimate. Legal fees are very hard to estimate.
So, but in 2021, those aren't legal fees, you're telling me now?
No, that was probably the cost of Tyler Technologies, the
Okay.
$494 that you're seeing. Yes, we would have had the $389,000 was the contract that we had.
And then the extra 100, is that aerial mapping or what?
It could have been either aerial mapping or it could have been legal fees.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Weaver.
Please bear with me, this is all new to me because I'm looking at the expenditures, and you're stating, can you tell me what the annual cost is for Tyler Technologies? On average, what percentage does it go up each year with the expenses? In addition, how much do the aerial mapping normally cost, and how many current lawsuits do we currently have pending?
I do not have the lawsuits with me. I can get you that information, but we don't pay Tyler every year. We only pay them every 5 years. We're required by state statute to complete a revaluation every 5 years, and it was required by October 1/21. The next one will be October 1 of 26. So what I do in the next 5 years is I try to accumulate enough money in this fund so we have a sufficient fund balance when we have to hire, be it Tyler or some other revaluation company in 2026. But if in order for it to be effective on 10/1/26, they start it the year before. I don't know if I answered all of your questions.
No, but what was the cost of just, you said for Tyler Technologies was 300 and something?
Yes, the contract we signed with them for the 10/1/21 was $389,269.
So to clarify, just because the prior year balance was 494 and right now we're at 248, that more than likely by 2026, that's going to have to be amended upwards back to that original number. So if we take a deficit now, that could impact 2026, correct?
Yes, it could.
Thank you.
Representative Cerf.
Yes, I know that we use several different methods to do the revaluation for commercial industrial properties. Does Tyler provide us with those? Or if they don't, would it be possible to get them to provide us with those so that we know which method was used?
I didn't understand the beginning of your question. For commercial and industrial?
Are you asking if
Yes,
Tyler,
commercial.
Can you repeat your question one more
Thank
time,
you,
just
my
so that we're all sure what you're asking?
I want to sit before I have to.
I know, at least at the time when I last looked into it, that three possible methods can be used to evaluate commercial industrial. I think one is the comparable sales, which are very few of. The other is estimated value or something like that, and then the third one would be on the income that the business makes. Would it be possible, does Tyler provide us with which method they actually use to do commercial industrial for each one of the sites?
Okay, so which method? I believe recently I had mailed out, or we had sent everyone Tyler's presentation to the council, that I believe that you had asked for that and we had addressed it. I mean, the presentation listed a lot of the commercial and industrial information. Do you recall receiving that?
Can I
You sent me, the numbers, but you didn't send me the method which was used to evaluate each one, like Pfizer. You know, which method do you use to evaluate Pfizer or Electric Boat or Johnson or any of the businesses?
Well, for Pfizer and EB, we can't compare them to like Johnson's, but we do fee appraisals for them. We hire a totally separate fee appraiser to do Pfizer and EB just by the nature of their business and their size. Someone that is more familiar with valuing those types of companies.
I'm going to interrupt for one quick second here. One, Representative Dean Shinbrot, you are sharing your screen right now. So if you can stop sharing your screen. Representative Dean Shinbrot. Is there any way we can stop her from sharing her screen? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We're back. Thank you. Do you have any more information?
I don't have I don't have any more information tonight with me of the formula that was used for every commercial and industrial property.
Okay.
No, I do not.
Thank you. All right. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, the number on the floor is $230,640. That is a 2.5% decrease from the 7% decrease from the original number. So count number 2120 on page 95. The number on the floor is 230,640, $230,640. We're going to do a roll call vote.
We'll do a yes, no, or abstention. Adams?
Abstain.
Bailey?
No.
Burrell?
No.
Bright?
No.
Casper?
No.
Surf?
There's my hand,
Is it a yes, no, or abstain?
Yes.
She said yes? Okay. Chase?
No.
Cobb?
No.
Dean Shinbrot?
No.
Eben? Brickman?
No. No.
Ritchie?
Yes. I'm sorry, no.
Gardner?
Sorry.
Yes.
Gothier, are you back? Gothier? Yep, Gothier?
Yes. No.
Okay. Yes, I'm here, but no, I'm voting no. Guinapiero?
No.
Okay. Gustafson?
No.
Hainline?
No.
Jacome?
No.
Bassett?
No.
Merritt?
No.
Norman?
No.
Aubrey?
No.
K. Powers?
No.
S. Powers?
No.
Pacino?
No.
Ray?
No.
Scott?
No, no.
Cimarero?
No.
Thomas?
Yes.
V.C. Williams?
No.
Watson?
No.
Weaver? No. Wells?
No.
White?
No.
Whitney?
No.
Rusk?
No.
That's 3 yes and 32 2 noes, and 1 abstention.
So, on a vote of 3 to 32 to 1, that vote fails. The next number we have is 248,000. We'll do another roll call vote.
Adams, yes, no, or abstention? Yes. Bailey?
Yes.
Burrell?
Yes.
Bright?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Surf?
Representative Surf?
Yes, no, or abstention? Representative Surf? Chase?
Yes.
Cobb?
Yes.
Dean Shinbrot?
Yes.
Evan? Frickman?
Yes.
Fritchie?
Yes.
Gardner?
No.
Gothier?
Yes.
Guidapiero?
Yes.
Gustafson?
Yes.
Hainline?
Yes.
Oops. Jacome?
Yes.
Okay. Massett?
Yes.
Merritt?
Yes.
Norman?
Yes.
Aubrey?
Yes.
Powers K?
Yes.
Powers S?
Yes.
Pacino?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
No.
Cimarero?
Yes.
Thomas?
No.
VC Williams?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yeah. Yes.
Wells?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Whitney?
Yes.
Rusk?
Yes.
32 yes.
Did you get Representative Surf? Representative Surf, did you have a vote for this?
She's not muted.
We can't hear you.
She says,
I'm sorry.
Can't
Okay.
hear her.
That motion passes. Motion passes 32 to 3 to 0 in the amount of $248,000. I am going to call for a short recess. Please be back here by 8:40.
Seems like.
We are on 2060 Mumford Cove on page 184. Just for,
I think we have 34 members because I don't see, I don't see Gus. Gauthier and Kay Powers.
Gauthier's coming back in.
Okay, all right, then we have 35.
Okay. So Mumford Cove, the number passed by, or the number requested by the town manager was 21,230. The number passed by the town council was the same as was by the R.T.M. committee.
Account number 2060 Mumford's Cove is found on page 184. Director Landry explained to us the category. It's pretty much for the fire district tax. Motion was made by Representative Scott to move $21,230. Was seconded by Representative Gardner. The discussion, basically, Director Landry discussed the taxing of Mumford Cove for the use of the Noank Fire District plus the town for tax collection of the service. This is a self-sustained fund for services. Chairman Powers called for a vote, 7 in favor, none opposed, none abstained. The motion passed, so moved, $21,230. Like that, put on the floor, please. 21,230.
Chase is the second?
Second from Chase. So our number is $21,230. Any discussion? Representative Thomas.
Yes, could I just get some clarification? Is this a number that can be cut, or is this a number that we're obligated to pay? Or the explanation was a little bit rushed. I didn't quite pick up on all that.
187.
Director Landry.
The primary purpose of this, we tax the Mumford Cove residents to pay Noank Fire District for fire protection, which is $20,000. So the balance of the $1,230 would be for the cost of tax collection services, and we do put a little bit of money in there in case they have any liens that need to be filed or released with the town clerk.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, then the number on the floor is $21,230. All in favor?
Aye. 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 Aye.
Is there anyone, can I just do a roll call with, Representative Fritchie was yes, Representative Watson was, was a yes, Representative Ray was a yes, Representative Dean Shinbrot is a yes, Representative Bailey.
Yes.
Yes, Representative Cerf? Yeah. Representative Pacino is a yes. Representative Guimpiero?
Yes.
Representative Gauthier?
Yes.
Representative Frickman?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. I'm sorry, anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Representative Thomas? Okay, that passes. What's our number?
35.
So 34 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstention in the amount of $21,230. All right, the next one on our agenda is 4010 Groton Sewer District on page 184. No, I'm sorry, 187. I'm gonna, go ahead.
Account 4010 Groton Sewer District, Director Landry was present for our discussion. Motion was made by Representative Chase to move $1,334,997. It was seconded by Representative Jacome. Director Landry discussed the sewer services as a debt service fund. The town taxes for upkeep, maintenance, and repair of the system. This fund also has small administrative costs included for the collection of taxes. City residents don't pay sewer taxes. The bulk of this fund is debt services. No questions were asked. Chairman Powers called for a vote, 7 in favor, none opposed, none abstained. The motion passed. So moved, $1,334,997.
Second, Jacome.
34,997.
Yes. Yes.
And that was seconded by
By
Tacoma? I don't know which one it was.
Tacoma and Chase, yeah. So the number that was requested by the town manager is 1,334,997. That's the same number passed by the town council, same number passed by the R.T.M. committee. Any discussion? Representative Aubry, you had your hand up first.
Are these numbers calculated by the current mill rate or the proposed? Because don't you divide it here?
Where are
The
you?
one on page 187?
Yes, please.
That's the proposed mill rate for 2023.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Thomas.
Yeah, just to, again, just kind of elaborate on what this is about. This is, could you explain, this is a fixed cost that really can't be cut, and why?
Okay, this is primarily a debt service fund. It pays the principal and interest of long-term bonds that were issued for upkeep and maintenance of the treatment plant. There is a little bit under operating expense. We do, because this is a separate fund, it's funded by sewer district taxes. We do share a portion of tax collection services, of the bills, binding of the rate books, a little bit of office supplies in this fund also, so that the general fund doesn't pay for all of it. But it's primarily debt service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Evan.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I was just curious, I thought this was paid for by a special fund, but then I see that $200,000 of fund balance is being applied. Why isn't this covered by the users of the service?
Okay, this is the sewer district taxes. This is not the sewer use fund. The sewer use fund is a different fund. It's Fund 2020.
So does this all come out of everyone in the whole city and town then?
No. The sewer district, people in the city do not pay sewer district taxes.
But the $200,000 that comes out of the fund balance, who's paying that? That's what I'm asking about.
The taxpayers.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking is why that's not,
Yeah,
why,
it's not.
why is
Oh,
this
it's not
extra
the-
amount covered by me?
It's not general fund.
No, it's not. It's only covered by, that's the sewer district taxes that are paid on real estate and personal property. You don't pay sewer district taxes on your motor vehicle. So those taxes are what make up that fund balance that accumulates in the fund that we use.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We put it on our clothes.
Any other questions? Representative Thomas.
Just a hypothetical. If this number was cut, what would happen?
Couldn't flush your toilet.
We would be in default of our debt.
We'd have to pay it anyways.
Yeah, we would, the 1.2 million, which is the debt service, that's principal and interest. You can see on page 188, the payments for every year.
Yeah, we would pay it no matter what. It would be devastating to the town's budget if we didn't. We'd pay so much more in future bonds, it would be crazy. No one would issue bonds to us in the future.
Understood. So where would the money come from to cover it, to avoid default if this number was cut?
We would take it where we had to, fund balance or somewhere else. Yeah.
Right. It would have to be, if the sewer district did not have sufficient funds to pay for it, the town would, the general fund would ultimately have to pay for it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? So the number on the floor is 1,334,997. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. I'm going to go through the representatives online. Representative Fritchie? Representative Fritchie? Yes. Representative Ray is yes. Representative Dean Shinbrot is a yes. Representative Pacino is a yes. Representative Watson is a yes. Representative Cerf is a yes. Representative Bailey? Representative Bailey?
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Frickman?
Yes.
Representative Gauthier?
Yes.
Representative Guinipiero?
Yes.
Representative Frickman has his hand up. Representative Pacino, you got? Okay, is there anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Representative Thomas. Okay, and our total number is 35, so that just passed 34-0 to 1 with Representative Thomas abstaining. Three, 4, 9, 9, 7. Next on our agenda is item number. Could Pacino mute by chance? Pacino, can you mute, please? So the next is debt services number 1076 on page 199.
Account 1076, debt services. Director Landry again was present. Motion was made by Representative Chase to move $11,087,706. It was seconded by Representative Norman. Our discussion was Director Landry's explained this is all the town's outstanding debt for Groton 2020 school phase 1 and general government debt. This debt is for long-term bonds of principal and interest. Director Landry provided an explanation of pages 199 and 200 as to how bonds are paid off and mature over time. The education side of debt services and general government side of debt services cannot be cut. Director explained the state process in receiving grant funding for school construction, the 11% holdback for after projects auditing. The bonding process for schools is a sizing issue on a yearly basis scale. The continuing disclosure figures on page 202 is a filing under the EMMA professional and technical fees. The auditing of debt services is on hold at the moment by the state because of what's going on. The school bonding issues were discussed, and it appears we are done with the new building. Chairman Powers call for a vote. 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstention. The motion passed. So move. $11,087,706.
Second.
Gustafson? Gustafson, thank you. So the number is $11,087,706. That is the number requested by the manager, passed by the council, and passed by the committee. This is a number that cannot be cut, correct, Director Landry?
That's correct. This is
Okay.
debt service.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I will take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Representative Fritchie is a yes. Representative Ray is a yes. Representative Guiampiero is yes. Representative Cerf is a yes. Representative Guiampiero is a yes. Representative Frickman is a yes. Representative Gauthier is a yes. Pacino is a yes. Dean Shinbrot is a yes. Watson is a yes. Bailey is a yes. Frickman. Did we get Frickman? Yes. Okay. Anybody opposed? Any opposition? Anyone abstaining?
Abstaining.
Thomas and Gardner. Thank you. So that passes 33 to 0 to 2. And the amount of?
$11,087,000.
Thank you. One of these days.
$706.
$11,087,706. Okay. Last on our agenda today is account number 1097. It is found on page 205.
Account 1094, contingency. Director Landry again was present. A motion was made by Representative Jacome to move $350,000. It was seconded by Representative Chase. Director Landry, in our discussion, explained this fund is for unforeseen expenditures throughout the year, separate from the adopted budget. The money is used, for example, for snow removal if we have a big snow season, if we have a bad year and the funding might run out for different things that are going on in town. An example of that was the beautification program may need a little money to finish a project, or some small examples. Chairman Powers called for a vote. 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstained. The motion passed. So moved. $350,000. Thank you.
Did you move that?
350,000.
Second, Jacome.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion. Oh, I'm sorry. Powers and Jacome. And the number 350,000 was the number requested by the town manager, passed by the town council, and passed by the committee. Is there any discussion? Representative Gardner.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. How much did you spend of last year's contingency fund?
For the current year, or for the actual last year that's completed?
The last year that was completed, please.
Last year. Oh, about 130,000, is that what it is? Do you have it with you? Yeah, 130. Plus the 130. Yeah, about 132. And I was actually prepared to say I'd be comfortable. You can see from 2015 to 2019, we had very large years. A lot of factors come into play. I was actually going to say I'd be comfortable going down to 300,000. But Cindy then just told me the new bond issuance with interest rates going up, we're going to right off the bat at the beginning of next year have to do 166,000 out of contingency. So 300,000 would be like the bottom you should go, at the very bottom, and everything would have to go well. So,
I'm sorry, can you repeat what is coming?
with the bond issuance we just did, with interest rates increasing, with the higher interest rate, we're going to have to pay unbudgeted 166,000, which will have to be taken out of contingency right at the beginning of the new year.
Okay.
Another question for the town manager.
Put it close to you. Yep.
How much have you spent of this year's contingency?
How much do we have in fourth quarter coming? Only about 110,000.
Okay, so that amount, whatever's left over from this year will roll into
Go back into the fund balance.
goes back into the fund balance. And if you come up short, you'll have to take it out of
Then
the
you
fund
hit the
balance.
fund balance, yes.
Okay. Madam Moderator, I'd like to put another number on the floor.
Okay.
300,000, please.
And is there a second?
Second, Thomas.
Got all kinds of seconds. I think Thomas was the first second, correct? Okay.
300,000?
300,000.
Doesn't this one have like a state threshold?
Do you want to discuss that? Your motion?
The state threshold.
Basically, we have money left over this year, and we've had some money left over in previous years, and the town manager said we could go down to 300,000. So that's why I'm putting that number on the floor.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Representative Jacome had his hand up first.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I guess the quick question was, with that extra 50,000, you don't see us needing that extra cushion for the town manager?
Well, the thing is, if anything big happens, it could be another 100,000, 200,000, in which case we would go to the fund balance. I'm okay with I wouldn't go below 300, but I think it's a reasonable number for 300.
And that would just require...
we may have to hit fund balance later, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. Is that a fourth quarter transfer or something like that?
Well, yeah, and then instead of just hitting contingency, you'd hit fund balance.
Thank you.
Representative Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. What is the current fund balance now?
For the current year, we've only spent 110, so about 240-ish. General fund?
Yeah, the general fund balance,
We're anticipating about 25 million.
About 25 million. We'll use 4 million potentially or more for the budget for next year.
Okay, so we're looking at a fund balance of about 19 million?
Right.
Moving forward to the next year?
90% or so, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to move another number. I'd like to move 275,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that,
Gardner?
please?
Gardner?
Thank you. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I would just, I think with the money that's left over now, coming out of this year, and then with the general fund balance, we could take the risk of trying to trim up on this and right on faith. You said we have 166,000 kind of obligated due to an upcoming bond issuance?
Right.
Right, so that would leave roughly another 109,000, something like that. Yeah, so I just think, again, trying to be frugal, as you requested earlier, looking for places where there's wants and not needs. So, yeah, I think 275,000 would be a good number to look at.
Does anyone else want to speak to this? Representative Massett?
Madam Moderator, through you to either Director Landry or the town manager. If we lower this, and hopefully we won't have to go out for bonds, but how does that look when the bonding companies are looking at us if we have a super, super low contingency?
I don't think it's a bad, they care more about the fund balance overall percentage than something like individualistic like contingency. I think the only thing I'm leery of is if you have to go, but usually you wouldn't want to go under 300,000, so if you do it the next year, you just have to increase your taxes by that much. So I like to leave it in there, and if worse comes worse, it'll go back into the general fund, but just my own feeling.
Representative Powers. Sean.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Representative Massett asked, she answered had one of my questions answered. With us getting bonded for the schools and that going up and increasing, if we take $50,000 out of it, you're basically saying there's no impact to us for that, correct?
I would say no. If you wanted to, if you're looking for a place to cut, this is probably a reasonable place to cut, knowing that we might, should we have a bad winter, which has happened in the past. We've had, the price of everything is going up. Who knows what salt's going to cost us? Oil's going up. We would have to go to fund balance for any additional that was not covered by contingency, would be increasing the bottom line of your budget. When the rating agencies, they do look and they do give us kudos, so to speak, about having flexibility, and the contingency account is one of those that we do have in a way to that not touch our fund balance. We do budget for unforeseen circumstances, but we are conservative. So I think if the 275 went, I wouldn't want to go any lower, knowing that we have that 166, because when we put the when we sized the issue and we anticipated what the debt service was going to be that we estimated in the budget, what is happening now was not happening, and we did not anticipate that. So we do know that you'll be taking almost half of it for debt service.
One other question for you, and this has to do with the assessments and the appeal process. And do we foresee, normally when we have the 10-year assessments, we see a larger amount of legal fees. Does the contingency fund help with that?
We would go to contingency if we needed to do an additional appropriation to the reval fund. If we did not have enough money and we were going to dip into the fund balance, it is possible.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Chase.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Director Landry, I don't work in your office. What is your comfort level with the 275?
Knowing that we have to take the debt service, I think only leaving $100,000 or a little bit more than that. You can look and see what we've used it for in prior years. The town manager was comfortable with the 300. I would probably be more comfortable with the 300 than the 275.
Are you more comfortable with the 350?
No, I think I could go with the 300.
All right, so if we vote on a lower number, you would just do a fourth quarter transfer if we needed money anyway, is that correct?
Well, if we depleted the contingency and something came up, actually what it would be called is a supplemental appropriation. That would come directly out of fund balance.
Okay.
Because we take the fourth quarter transfers, this is the account we take it from to give to other people. So if this is down to zero, you have to dip into your fund balance, which we do not like to do.
Okay, so, and you're saying this doesn't affect us in the outside world, bonding or anything like that?
I wouldn't say that it has a huge impact on us. The fact that we do have a contingency, though, so we do have budgetary flexibility for unforeseen circumstances, and I think all three of the rating agencies will mention that we have the ability to, curtail expenditures, but we also have the ability to cover unforeseen expenses. But I don't think it would be a big negative red check mark, no.
All right, so if we voted on the 350 and you didn't use it all, it would just stay in this account?
It would actually go back to general fund balance,
okay.
Right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Representative Scott.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and through you to the Director Landry. The fund balance, what is the amount of money that's in there this year, and how much money are we planning on putting in the fund balance this year?
I'm going to have to go get my other papers. I don't have that with me.
Well, and we can tell you that at the end of this next year, if we use the 4 million, which I'm pretty confident we will, then we would be at 19% fund balance.
19% of our total budget. So that means, that's 19% of this year's budget or accumulation? So essentially, we've overtaxed people by 19%. Is that what the implication is to get?
19% of the proposed budget.
Okay, so $19 million.
No, 19%.
Yeah, but what's the
Well,
balance?
it'd be close to the.
Be 25. Let me just get my papers. Excuse me. Based on the town council's budget of the $142.6 million, and if we plan to use $4 million in fund balance and having a mill rate of 21.16, I'm anticipating a 19% fund balance at the end of June of '23, which would be about $28 million.
So $28 million, which is 19% of this year's budget.
19% of the proposed 142, 19% of the '23 budget.
Okay, so
Yep.
we're essentially overtaxing our taxpayers then if we're able to put 23% away in a savings account. Am I listening to that correctly?
No.
But you're putting $23 million away. We're able to save $23 million. And this is another savings account with somewhere between $275,000 and $350,000, depending on what we vote on tonight.
Well, we'll be using 4 million out of the current fund balance.
But wasn't there some discussion in the last?
You know, we get dinged by the, you don't want to go below 15%. The ideal is 20%.
But we're at Burt.
We're at 19.
Right, so we're 4% higher than what's recommended.
I recommend, the ideal they'll tell you is 20%, the minimum is 15%.
Yes. That does.
And we just went up on one of our bond ratings, yes.
It feels like we're taking too much money out of the taxpayer's pocket if we're sitting on that kind of money.
Well,
Again,
that's why
we're.
you're going to use 4 million this year, and they might even use more.
Okay. I'm done for now. Thank you.
Representative Weaver. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Representative Surf has had her hand up for a minute. Representative Surf,
Am I on mute?
you're fine.
Yes, I want to support Representative Scott in this. I remember. What, somebody else speaking?
No one is speaking.
There's feedback or something.
Oh,
Somebody else speaking, or am I
no.
speaking?
You're speaking. Representative Surf, you have the floor.
Okay. I recall at some point toward the end of the previous council that you discovered that you had a whole lot of extra money, the council did, and there was a motion to put it all back into the general fund, which is why we have such a huge general fund. And Representative Scott, I'd like you to know that I recall distinctly that Councilor Zeppieri had said, we shouldn't put it back in the general fund. If we overtax people, we should give the money back to the taxpayers, which I thought extremely, I was very grateful to him for saying that, because it's really the truth. And this is putting I think that our general fund is way too big, whichever way you look at it. I don't remember ever having a general fund that big. And so therefore, we can easily cut this contingency because it's coming out of general funds anyway. So if we need more, we can just go get it out of general fund. But our general fund is, I agree with you, Scott, it's way too big. And that's causing a huge problem.
When I was off microphone, just to say again, the reason I recommended 4 million is so that we, fund balance uses, so we stay under the 20 million, because I don't want it to see it climbing.
Representative Weaver.
You guys.
Hold on.
are
Representative
officially
Surf, you
bumped
don't
up
have the
a
floor right
percentage.
now. Representative Weaver.
I'm just trying to seek some clarification because we just did the debt service fund, which we said that we weren't allowed to cut. However, between the fiscal year ending in 2021 and the fiscal year proposed for 2023, there's a $3 million increase that we couldn't touch. However, the contingency is just meant for contingency. And when you stated that the contingency could be plowing or salt or oil, we just didn't use the contingency from last year, and we had raised gas prices and raised oil prices, and the vendor services were relatively high. So and the cut was initially approved for the $300,000. So now, after hearing this ancillary information, I don't know why it couldn't go down even 10% lower if it's just going to go back into the general fund to save our taxpayers money. Thank you.
Do you want to address that question?
Could I just speak to the rising prices, particularly with the oil? Our oil prices, our oil, our gas, and our number two, the heating oil, we were locked in at a very low rate, so we didn't see that increase that I expect when our contract runs out in September that we will see. And there is an increase in this year's budget. When you get to the fleet fund, you'll see we had to increase the amount of fuel oil, gasoline, unleaded diesel, and heating oil based on those prices.
With all due respect, while I respect that information that you're providing feedback, that's the town and what they have to affect. But Mr. Scott is right. If you're going to be raising our taxes, the taxpayers also have to pay for higher service fees and oil too. So you're asking the taxpayers to not only support our community, but to incur the cost ourselves as individuals. So if the contingency fund could go down and not go back into the general coffer, I would think that would be the better place for the money.
Thank you. Representative Pacino.
I'd like to find out, by reducing this budget by 50 grand, how much per taxpayer is each taxpayer saving? It can't be that much. Is there an answer for that?
Not right off the bat, no.
Well, I can tell you that 1 mil is worth $4.5 million.
One thing I want to point out too is any general fund budget, money that's not spent does go back into the general fund. So it's not just this. The reason you use contingency is rather than building into each individual department just in case, rather than raising the money in there for plowing and stuff, we put this in there to kind of, hedge our bets and not have to put as much money in.
Are there any other questions? Representative Gardner.
So my question would be to the town manager. Thank you, Madam Moderator. Why even have a contingency fund? Why don't you just keep it all in the general fund and then come back and ask for an appropriation as needed?
Well, you have to have, we would be looked at poorly by bond agencies if we didn't have some contingency.
If you didn't have $350,000 in a contingency, when you have $20 million in fund balance?
Because otherwise what we would do is we would build in some extra money into public works in case they have higher plowing. We would have to divvy it up a bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions or comments, the last number on the floor is $275,000. We're going to do a roll call vote. So the number for item 1094, $275,000, account 1094.
Okay, Representative Adams? Yes, no? Yes? Okay. Bailey?
Yes.
Burrell?
No.
Bright?
No.
Casper?
No.
Surf?
She's got her hand up, but she's muted.
Surf?
Yes, yes or no? Or
Thumbs up, thumbs down? Thumbs up,
up.
yes. Thank you.
Chase?
No.
Crop? Dean Shinbrot?
She has a thumb down, no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Eben?
Yes.
Frickman?
Yes.
Fritchie?
No.
Gardner?
Yes.
Gothier?
Yes.
Guinipiero?
Yes.
Gustafson?
No.
Hainline is gone. Jacome?
No.
Massett?
No.
Merritt?
No.
Norman? No. Aubrey?
No.
Powers? Sean?
No.
Pacino?
No.
Ray?
No.
Scott?
Yes.
Cimarero?
No.
Thomas?
Yes.
B.C. Williams?
Yes.
Watson?
No.
Weaver?
Yes.
Wells?
No.
White?
No.
Whitney? Representative Whitney?
I don't see
I don't
him.
I don't
He's
see him
not
either.
there.
Okay. Okay. Rusk?
No. So
We have
that motion fails in the amount of 12 to 21 to 0. The next number on the floor is 300,000. We'll again do a roll call vote.
I just have to put a line. Well. Sorry. Okay, Adams?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Burrell?
Yes.
Bright?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Surf?
No, she-
Representative Surf? We'll come back to her.
Chase?
No.
Cop?
Yes.
Dean Shinbrot?
No.
Eben?
Yes.
Frickman?
Yes.
Fritchie?
Fritchie, you're muted.
This is $300,000. Fritchie?
Surface saying yes, by the way.
Sir has a thumbs up.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Fritchie's a yes.
9, 10, okay. Gardner?
Yes.
Gothier?
No.
Guinipiero?
Yes.
Gustafson?
No.
Gone. Jacome?
Yes.
Massett?
No.
Merritt?
No.
Norman?
Yes.
Aubrey?
No.
Powers? Sean?
No.
Pacino?
No.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Cimarero?
No.
Thomas?
Yes.
B.C. Williams?
Yes.
Watson?
No.
Weaver?
Yes.
Wells?
No.
White?
Yes.
Whitney? He's not here. Nope. And Rusk?
Yes. So that passes
21.
in the amount of 21 to 12 to 0. And with that, I will take a motion for recess. Representative Powers, seconded by Representative Weaver. We are in recess until Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Thank you.